Subtle skills, big results.
Welcome to the Ninja Selling Podcast. Welcome back to the Ninja Selling Podcast. Matt and Garrett back with you again, and we're excited to be with you today. Anybody who's spending time with us today, you are probably, well, you might be listening to the recording, but if you're with us, like when this recording like really goes out and goes live this episode, you have just finished some wonderful holiday experiences with your family, people you love. You're probably in the middle of it still right now. You probably have people still sleeping on your couch at your house, which is what the beauty of this time is. We are here with you today to talk about, one, during this time, taking care of yourself. We work really hard throughout this year. We put in a lot of time, a lot of energy. Matt and I talk about always is, December is the time to really go big when it talks about connecting with your people, holiday events, taking in all these opportunities to grow and build your database. And then we're gifted this time right now, which is time for you to breathe a little bit and walk away. And I think, Matt, and this is what I want to talk to you about today, and this probably isn't going to be terribly long today, but I think it's important. Like, people need to breathe. They need to walk away for a little bit. And we have this great moment where we all just go, I'm just going to just lick my wounds, take care of myself, relax. I don't want to have any plans. I don't want to be doing anything over the top. And it's needed right now. This is you should own this time of the year. So, Matt, I'm happy we get to talk about this today. I know when we were talking about it earlier, like, this is your chance to make your move. Go for the throat. Make the closing.
I was joking. Garrett's like, yeah, this is the universal time off. And I'm like, perfect time to pick up the phone and start cold calling all those people. Don't do that, please. It would be kind of funny. A good funny reel on Instagram if you have some free time and want to do that. But I think this is, as you said, the universally understood time of doing nothing kind of thing. And I mean, I don't have anything going on this week. We'll probably record some podcasts and stuff, but I really don't have any calls or anything like that because it's like, hey, it's the way the holidays fell, Christmas being yesterday, you have Sunday through Sunday. So you get that full calendar week lined up really, really well. And I think this year is special with that, where a lot of people will be doing not a lot of things. Now, that said, I know many of you will have clients who are like, hey, I want to go see houses. And there are houses on the market and there may be listings that need to get activated. And of course, we're going to do that. But we're kind of giving you a little bit of permission to ease up on all the other things and not beat yourself up and focus on, hey, what are the things you need to do? This is something that I'm going to be doing this week. What are the things that you need to do to make sure that as you start next year, all the things you want to have in place for your personal health and well-being are in place so that as you get to start your business plan and dive into the business again, that you're not leaving yourself behind. I think that's important. And that's something you can think about it and kind of help yourself get set up this week.
Oh, and Matt, I think it's important as you're talking about working with people through this week. I'm not saying don't work with anybody. And I will actually say that the people that you work with typically through this time of the holidays,
they mean business.
They're not messing around. Like, if they have their home and they want to put it on the market right now, they really need to solve something. They've got to go somewhere. They don't have time to wait. If they're out looking for property right now, they're not just sitting around saying, oh, isn't this great? We've got time. Let's go do this. Like, they have a choice of hanging out with their loved ones and spending time with them. And they're choosing to go like, let's go see if we can find ourselves a house. They're pretty serious people. There's really good business that can happen through this time right now. But it's also your time to, again, just take that step back. Matt, I love what you said about looking at how are we going to set up this first part of this year so that we can maintain ourselves, take care of ourselves, because it's very fast. How quickly we flick the switch and business is back on. All of a sudden we're back in full swing. And there might be going through business planning. You might have a new year coming up where you're wanting to, take a different approach, step up in a different way, take things a little bit more serious. And this is your time to make sure right now it's, okay, how am I going to make sure that when we turn the lights back on, when all of a sudden the energy comes back on, that I'm going to be able to now implement this new plan that I've created instead of just falling back into my old ways. We see it happen all the time, Matt, where people all of a sudden blink and they're like, damn it, I had the best of intentions. I wanted to change things. I was going to eat different. I was going to exercise different. I had this new system in my business. I was really going to lean into it. And yeah, we're just back doing what we've always done. Same old place, same thing, day in, day out. This is your chance. Take some time to, think, get some deep thought going on about how are we going to do this and come up with your plan and make sure it's something that you can commit to.
What's funny is that can happen anytime. It just commonly happens around this time of year. If you do get into next week and you're like, oh man, I wanted to start on day one, I guess I'll wait until 2024. No, you can get back on track any day that you want. But the beauty of this week is clear things out. If there are look at this is what I would recommend. Look at the calendar. If there's anything on there that's not important or urgent, right? These things that, I should do these things because whatever, checklist items, cancel them. And just reschedule them for another time. If you really are looking at it like, man, I don't have any time for myself this week to just sit and think, to sit and just be with my family, cancel it. What's the worst that's going to happen? You do it next week? Okay.
Matt, here's how I approach this week. And I've done this for many years with my schedule where I've gone, you know what? Everybody that I coach walks away for the most part the week of Christmas, and then we go into the week of the new year. Usually if it pushes, like this one kind of falls a little bit different because New Year is literally like on Sunday. Yeah. So it's one of those ones that's like everybody's going to kind of get done with that and then boom, kick off the new year.
Well, no, New Year's Day is Sunday.
Yeah, New Year's Day is Sunday. So kind of kick off that new year right there on Monday. People are going to be like, boom, back in the office is probably what we're going to see.
That's you get the national holiday as Monday because they got to observe it on a Monday. But man, that Tuesday, the gyms are going to be packed.
But so what I was going with this is that, every year, and I've been an adult for a handful of years now.
You sure about that?
In that time, what I've realized is that these 2 weeks I own for myself. There are projects that I have throughout the year that I'm like, when I get a chance, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. And these 2 weeks, I just start lining up stuff. I'm like, all right, for myself and for my family, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. And I know I look forward to this time because I know my phone's not going to be ringing all the time. I know there's not going to be people reaching out to me saying, hey, Garrett, I need your attention. I know I'm not going to be under this need of all these people out here, which I love, by the way. During the year, I love being on that level. But it also makes me have a lot of things and projects in my life that I'm like, there's no way that's going to happen right now. That needs to be put on hold. And these 2 weeks are like my time of just like, that's going to be taking place. I mean, in all honesty, I know we're recording this a little bit earlier, talking about what's going to be happening, but what is going to be happening, like when this recording goes live, is my car is going to be up in the air with the entire rear suspension pulled out from underneath it. And I have all kinds of things I want to be doing to it that I've been wanting to be doing all year long, but it just wasn't going to happen. It will this week. I'm going to be happily laying under my car, working on it by myself with the music blaring. Like, it's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome.
This is my time. I can tune things off, walk away, take care of things that are important to me that really bring some joy into my world. And that's what you should be doing for yourself right now. Take this opportunity to step back, walk away a little bit, take care of yourself. Do those things that as you start the new year. Like I know when I start the new year, having my car with a lot of things that are fixed on it because it's stuff that I just deal with right now, it's going to be great. I can already see what first week of January is going to be just driving my car around. I have a vision and a picture in my head.
It's going to be so good.
My family hates my car, by the way. Nobody else will appreciate it besides me.
While you were talking, I was thinking about, this is a great week, but maybe even think about, can I get one of these weeks or a few of these weeks? And now I know we plan vacations and things like that, and I'm not talking about that, but can you get another week somewhere where you can just get this headspace to regroup? Whether it is you need to like recalibrate your fitness program, your nutrition program, whatever it might be that you just want to get back on track with or something, like kind of pre-planning that stuff would be a good idea.
So we do it in the business plan. Like when we do the business plan and coaching, like we have you check off all the weeks. But I think what's interesting, Matt, and what you're saying is that very rarely do we look at that as like a self-care week too, make sure that you are operating at the absolute best you possibly can be operating and getting all the things that make you the best person that you can be, so your head's in the right space. Like, I don't think very many people look at it that way.
And that's what I meant, because we plan out like, hey, I'm going to do family vacation here. I'm going to do this here. And here's the cool part when you plan that in. If you don't need it, plan B is get back to work, crush the Ninja 9, do the things. Like, the plan B is always going to be productive. But if you plan ahead with something like that, maybe you can avoid it even by planning ahead, because like, actually, I feel really good. Everything's going great. I read a fantastic book recently called The Comfort Crisis. Jordan Malik, manager of Windermere in Seattle, recommended it to me. And I'm so happy you did, because it's probably going to be one of my like number one most recommended book to people throughout this coming year. And one of the concepts they talked about in the Comfort Crisis is this idea of a misogi, which is a challenge for yourself, and how every year you should have one big challenge, one big planned thing that really pushes you outside of your comfort zone. And the author who wrote the book, he is writing this book. In the background is his misogi of that year, which was a 5-week hunting trip to the backwoods tundra of Alaska. So that's the type of thing that we're talking about. Now, I know people are like, well, I'm not going to go take a 5-week. I know that. But thinking about how do we get this time where we can challenge our thoughts, challenge our physical energy, challenge all these things. And like, that's something that I'll be doing this week too, is just thinking about, okay, how do I want to make sure I have things planned out that really help me grow personally and professionally? Because yes, we have a great business plan that's going to help the business operate and run with the right actions in the right space and the right time. But am I also then making sure that I'm challenging myself and fighting the new levels of comfort that kind of creep in? And so, fantastic book. It kind of relates to what we were talking about here. And I recommend, hey, maybe this week you download the audiobook, you grab the book and you actually listen to it, or go out and read that book. That could be something you can do too.
Yeah, I had a thought here while you were talking about this challenge for yourself. And I don't know this gentleman's last name because it's been 25 years since I actually was able to hang out with this gentleman. But Chauncey is his first name. And Chauncey used to work at a restaurant with me. We did prep together in the restaurant early in the mornings. Again, I was really young, and Chauncey had a routine that he did. And it was really about every quarter. And he was stuck to it very seriously, religiously. What it was he would load up a backpack, a camping backpack, and he would put just enough food in there for the week. And he put enough water in there, but his thing was to find water while he was out and doing what he was doing.
Can't carry enough water for a week.
No, he would go out and find a creek, and he had a little filter thing that he could filter the water. Very, very, very simple food unless he found more food while he was out. And that dude by himself would drive out somewhere and just walk out in the woods.
That's wild.
Stay out in the woods for a week. And that was his moment of grounding himself. And he did it every quarter. He would ground himself, get himself back to what was important, who he was. He would sit out there and whittle away on wood and, write ideas and thoughts of like where he's going with his life. It was so foreign to me when I was at that age and I was at that stage in my life and, being in college and trying to kind of figure all that out. And I was just like, yeah, I'm going to school and I'm doing this. And here's this guy like, what do? You walk out the woods and you're all by yourself out there for a week. It was not something I could relate to. I look back now and go like, what an incredible moment to ground yourself. What an incredible thing to walk away from all the noise, all the clutter. We didn't have cell phones back then, so it wasn't like he even had that. He was fully removed, separated from this world. It could be a really good thing. So, Matt, I think that's like, we're given this time right now to detach a fair amount. But I think having those times, and you mentioned whether you need it or not, like if you didn't need it, like this is your time to hit it hard. Where I know Chauncey, it wasn't up for negotiation. It wasn't up for a like, hey, do I need this right now? I was like, no, this is what I do every quarter to make me be the best I could possibly be.
That's awesome. I mean, what he had scheduled there, they talk about that in the book of having planned time out in nature called forest bathing. A lot of people will plan these forest bathing trips and they calculate it out like 20 minutes a day in nature can change your entire energy. 5 hours of plan just like a 5-hour chunk once a month into the deep nature, going for a hike, doing what like Chauncey was doing, can have a incredible impact on your stress levels and your overall health. And I know we've kind of navigated from, hey, sit around and do nothing this week, to like, get out into the forest. But it's not like go out and, I do think we need to challenge our comfort zones, but not necessarily this week, but just getting outside and getting away from our normal patterns is so important, and getting away from our normal distractions. Like the one thing I would hope too that people use like kind of a down week for is to not go from, okay, I'm busy with work, to now I'm busy with Netflix and chill and screens and all these things. Like, let's get away from all the normal things that we have in us just for a little bit. Even if you're just like, hey, you know what? I'm going to put my shoes on, go out my front door and go for a walk. And where you live, it might be really cold right now. And so you go out and you weather it as much as you can, and then you come back. Cold exposure is also really, really good for you. Really good for you. Well, and I should just do asterisk. There's a lot of like different ways to approach that. So don't be like, oh man, Matt said go dive in the snow and stay there for hours. No, that's not what I said.
We have a report. Ninjas around the country suffer hypothermia after listening to Matt's podcast.
Although the polar plunge is coming, right? New Year's Day, a lot of people go do a polar plunge. So if you're participating in one of those, that's a lot of fun. Have fun with that. Yeah, I don't know. That book came to mind, Garrett, when we were kind of talking about this. And I think that's something to just keep in mind this week and maybe, explore a little bit.
Well, and again, our whole point of talking about this topic with everybody today is that we push really hard through the year, and we push, I always tell, like December is this incredible gift that's given to us, that we all get together, we all socialize. Everybody has these holiday parties and holiday events, and some people more than others are like, by the time you get to the 25th, you're like, oh my gosh. And here we're going to have one last maybe run as we go to like the new year. But for the most part, we've been going. And then we have this universally agreed upon, everybody exhale. Everybody just let's just be quiet. Let's just, take it easy. And that's where I want people to own some of this time right now is this is a universal exhale, walk away, take care of yourself, and don't let it pass. This is gifted time right now. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, no doubt. So, well, appreciate everybody for joining us, on a holiday week here. Merry Christmas to all the yous who celebrated yesterday. I hope that you guys have a fantastic week. We'll still be here on Thursday as well with another episode. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I have some ideas, but I don't know what it's going to be yet. But thank you for joining. Garrett already knows what it's going to be, so I'll let him inform me.
It's going to be epic.
It's a don't miss episode for sure.
It's a don't miss episode is what it is.
So if you're looking for some community too, we have an amazing community on Facebook. Just search the Ninja Selling Podcast in groups and you'll find us. Over 10,000 people in there. If you are new to Ninja and you're saying, hey, I want to learn more about Ninja Selling and what it's all about, head over to ninjaselling.com. You can learn about the courses and coaching that's available. And if you've never read Larry Kendall's book entitled Ninja Selling, highly recommend picking it up. If you have some time this week and you're like, I've never read that book, this is a great week to dive into that book and really fully understand and engulf yourself in the ninja selling systems, because it's something that can certainly change your business and change your life, as many people have said, myself and Garrett included. So appreciate all of you for joining us. Garrett, appreciate you, my man.
Thank you, man. I always appreciate you, and great time of the year. Happy we're able to all spend it together. So thank you.
All right, everybody. Have a good one. We'll see you later.
If you enjoyed today's episode and would like more, visit us at theninjasellingpodcast.com.
There you will also find links for more information about ninja selling and coaching. Have an incredible day.